Good day, everybody. Nice to see you. And yeah, you're welcome to turn on your video. I'd like to see your faces. Okay. So let's see. We're going to talk about yoga and Ayurveda and why they work so well together. And hopefully maybe this will expand your view of what they are. So these are ancient sciences that are intrinsically linked. And it creates a solid foundation for well-being. And it is a different way of living than perhaps what you're used to, but not as different as you might think. So let me just talk a little bit about each of them and then we can see how it goes together. So I came to yoga first, as most of us do, because my yoga teacher suggested it. And when she first suggested it, I said, oh, I'm doing okay. It's all right. I eat real healthy. I do this real healthy. It's no problem. And and then she persisted because she recognized in me some of the imbalances that I had. And so finally, I came back around to Ayurveda. And so let's talk a little bit about what yoga is and what Ayurveda is, because I think there perhaps is a much bigger view of it than what you may think. Excuse me. So yoga, it's a state of being, right? Maybe you've heard that. Yoga is a state of unity of body, mind, and spirit. But it's also a set of practices that are to take us toward that state of being. That's the purpose of the practices. It's that union, and that's the word yoga. It comes from the word yuj in Sanskrit, and it means union. And so let's just sit with that for a moment, because what does that union mean? Well, many of us start yoga for really simple reasons. Oh, I heard it make me feel better. I heard it'll make my body stronger. I heard that that if I meditate, that I'll mentally feel better. And sometimes people just want to check it out. And it's almost, you could say that it's almost beyond important, because it's so fundamental to our understanding and becoming able to get to know ourselves, to get to know our innermost world, to be able to learn to live from that place. And it might be something that you've never even discovered before, because we often feel that, that the activity of my mind is my inner world. And I want to suggest to you that there's more than that. And that yoga isn't just physical postures. It's much, much more. And actually, the physical postures are actually a fairly small part of it. And so what happens then, as we come to know our inner world and learn to live from that place, then we aren't as dragged around by the external environment. And I know many people these days are saying, I want to be my true self. I want to live from my truth and things like that. Well, that's what this is about. It's, so that we're not dragged around by the external environment, that we can respond to it in the ways that we want to. And so yoga then it's a vast body of knowledge and wisdom, and it's available to everybody. And so Ayurveda then, well, the word means the science of living, or the science of life. It's a complete science of living. It's really how to be a human in harmony with nature, with our innermost self, or our higher self, as being the expression in our life. So it's not just a diet and a lifestyle, but these are things that are incredibly powerful. But it also has extensive treatments for disease, for injury, even including surgery. But we know that diet and lifestyle, the ahar and vihar, we call it in Sanskrit, these are the most powerful pieces. And part of that is because they are in our control. And the other piece is that it's done on a daily basis. So in order to have an effective yoga practice, meaning one that is actually going to take us in the direction of a state of yoga, you need to have a diet and lifestyle that are going in the same direction. And so that everything that you're doing then is taking you toward that state of yoga, not away from it. And this coincides with Ayurveda in the sense of we want to do things that move us toward our unique constitution, what we came into this life with. And also along with that is something called sattva, which is our balance and harmony. And we want to move into that, right? Because it feels good. Because it's what facilitates our actually being able to express life fully. And you could call it the being your true self. And so what Ayurveda does then is it sets this foundation for living fully. You know, yoga changed my life by allowing me to better understand my mind and who I am beyond it. How my body was just following what my mind was telling it. I had a lot of problems as a younger person. And pranayama and meditation, which is yoga, have provided the space and the spiritual connection to not be trapped by the workings of the mind and its effect on the body. And so Ayurveda has been, it's really how we've been intended to live. And the two, yoga and Ayurveda, are meant to be together. Now, they work together to bring deep healing for the things that take us off track. In earlier times, it was the way people lived. And so what we're doing now is that we're unlearning a few things and just learning a new approach. And it's not black and white, and it's not exactly the same for everyone. And when we go into this, when we approach these things, yoga and Ayurveda, to understand why am I doing this? To feel better, to realize my true self, to live more fully, to be able to do the things that I want to do in life. So these are the things that we need to ask ourselves and see, oh, okay, this is why I'm doing it. Because sometimes we might find out that, you know, I'm doing it because all my friends are doing it. But that self-inquiry, that exploration inside, that's what really makes the difference. That's what makes the difference in our living. That's probably why most of you are here, because that is what we want as human beings. You know, we all have lots of stuff on the outside, and we can go and travel all over the planet and do all kinds of things, and then still not have that fulfilled feeling. But with the tools of Ayurveda and yoga, we can have that fulfilled feeling, whether I stay home and I'm just in my community or I'm traveling the world. So at Hale Pule, we're well known for our Ayurvedic healing programs, and yoga is really a core element of our teachings. And one doesn't really happen without the other, because they're holistic. They address us as complete human beings, and they really reinforce the wholeness of our human experience. So if you want to begin to expand your journey with yoga or deepen your current understanding, then I'd invite you to take a look at the holistic yoga program. And it's an in-depth, self-paced program, and one that's very close to my heart. And it walks you through the foundations of yoga, including pranayama and meditation, as well as asana practices. But just to give you a more holistic view of what yoga really has to offer. And so I'll leave the link in the chat, and it'll be also on this video. I think one of the main things that I wanted to come from today is for you to know that that's available and to consider it as a bigger view of what yoga really is. Yeah. We have a minute or two. Anybody like to ask a question about what we've been talking about? Nice to see you all. No? You can just unmute yourself. It's okay. Okay. Well, nice to be here with you. And do some exploring. And, it's not just with yoga and Ayurveda, because what yoga and Ayurveda do is that they help us to look at life, that we can see it from a bigger perspective, and then be able to go and do whatever we are doing in our life, whatever those very focused and specific things are, and have some bigger perspective with it. And then you can come to realize how important you are. That each step and each thing that we do, and every time we have a conversation, it matters. It makes a difference because it puts that energy into the world. And it's the same thing with our mind. And that's why yoga is so wonderful, because it helps us to be able to keep our mind in its proper place. Okay. No? Okay, good. See you next time. Namaste.
Thank you.